A lot of the a lot of the Houston culture is based on what Screw did and how that in that era of time. Like, I know it's hard for people out of town to understand, but the sip and serve thing, it was something that that they rapped about first. Before anybody, early '90s. You know what I'm saying? They was talking about this. They had the chopped and screw tapes. They created that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, DJ Screw is like a king, what I'm saying, in Texas, like, higher than than anybody, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, everybody salute him like he a god out there, man. Yeah.
This hip-hop DJ remains something of a mystery many years after his passing. He was quite influential in the Houston hip-hop community and is known as the creator of the chopped and screwed DJ technique, a sound that shook the hip-hop world for years to come. However, it seemed that the one thing that helped him to create a generational sound would eventually be the same thing to become his demise. Robert Earl Davis Jr., also known as DJ Screw, was born in 1971 to a father who was a truck driver and a mother who lived with her own mother in Smithville the year that he was born. Robert actually wanted to be a truck driver like his father, but decided after watching the 1984 movie Break-In, he decided what his true calling would be. That movie, combined with his discovery of his mother's turntable, ignited a love for music in Robert. He took some of her records and started experimenting with sounds on the table, scratching the records like he had seen some DJs do. He was just a teenager when he started experimenting with sounds and basically carving his career as a DJ. But by the time 1990 rolled around, he had hit on what could now be considered his signature sound. DJ Screw took any song that he could find and would slow them down to a pace that felt like a chilled-out dream. He would also have 2 copies of the same record playing on 2 turntables and would chop between them at specific moments. The result? A sound that was as unique as it was captivating. The chopped and screwed style was all about transforming familiar tunes into something hypnotic and almost meditative. It was like your favorite songs but turned into a psychedelic masterpiece. DJ Screw tapped into the hidden soul of the music. When you slowed down the tempo, it wasn't just the beats that changed, it was the entire mood. It was as if the lyrics had more time to sink in. The emotions became more intense, and suddenly, those tracks you thought you knew so well were revealing new layers. DJ Screw didn't just slow down 1 or 2 songs at parties or clubs or things like that. He produced 100-minute-long mixtapes of slowed-down psychedelic music. Those first few mixtapes would eventually be called the Screw Tapes. At the time, DJ Screw went for the freshly dropped hip-hop tracks, mostly the very specific genre of gangster rap. But he had absolutely no issues throwing in other kinds of hip-hop songs, including old-school tracks. Eventually, he started infusing some freestyles from local rappers and even allowed people who were in the studio to write lyrics and rap on his beats while he was mixing.
So not only that too, he with the music too, he created something where not only he created a style of music, the slow down style and the chopped up style, but also he created with people would come in there and freestyle on the tapes.
Right.
He gave every rapper that came in there with freestyle on tapes from that point on had a rap career. Basically.
As all of that was happening, DJ Screw was also growing something else. His love and use of the intoxicating mixture called drank or lean. And in fact, the slowed-down nature of his sound started to be associated with said mixture. For those who are wondering, drank is a mixture of prescription-strength cough syrup and soda. Apparently, when taken in large quantities, this mixture was enough to get people high. In certain circles, DJ Screw was actually more synonymous with drank than his chopped and screwed sound, but enough people knew that he was the brain behind the sound, or at least its popularity, that the sound was actually named after him. That said, it has been mentioned in certain circles that DJ Screw's chopped and screwed sound was actually inspired by drank. That is, in slowing down high-tempo songs and chopping them up the way that he did, he was trying to recreate the same kinds of feelings that you get from sipping drank. However, DJ Screw himself kind of refuted this in one interview back in 1995. According to him, he was inspired by a psychedelic for sure, but it wasn't the drank that he was famous for, it was weed. The Guardian has a quote from him where he said, "When you smoking weed listening to music, you can't bob your head to nothing fast." This might have been the beginning of things, but his sound eventually reached a wider audience, and it happened organically. Interestingly, record labels came looking for him, but DJ Screw was not interested in that scene. At the time, he had some rappers around him, a collective that was referred to as the Screwed Up Clique. They're the same guys that he allowed to jump on some of his mixes. He helped a number of them, including Lil Keke and Big Pokey, to secure large record labels.
I met Screw back in like 91, 92, when we was like the first ones to really freestyle on Screw tape. Me and Fat Pat, we was going hard freestyle on Screw tape. And we just put it down, man. Screw this. It's like we went platinum underground on Screw, you know what I'm saying? Not knowing that would help us later in the real reality of the sales in the stores, you know what I'm saying? All that really helped. It just laid out for a lot. It helped Keke them out, Pokey out. It helped all of us out really just going platinum underground, you know what I'm saying?
This was in addition to the other ways that he had been influencing the lives of the members of the SUC. Those mixtapes, which he allowed his guys to jump on, were a kind of publicity for them. The mixtapes served as radio stations, playing a varied selection of songs, which is how many people got introduced to new music. So, many of the SUC members kind of got their start in that way.
First of all, I always wanted to make it into DJ Screw's house, because if you made it in there and he called you back to come, you're a hood legend now. You know, and it's like a radio station for the streets. You get on the Screw tape, you know, man, Screw making this motherfucker selling, you know, damn near 3,500 tapes a day. So you were gonna be heard. And it wasn't just Houston, it was, you know, Alabama, Austin, you know, that should be all overseas.
But for DJ Screw, he refused to be tied down to any one record label. He did produce an official record with Big Time Records back in 1995, and that helped him to gain even more attention. But he was never signed to any record label. His friends would eventually say that he probably produced up to 1,000 mixtapes during his short career, which is testament to how dedicated DJ Screw was to his craft. And when online sharing services like Napster started cropping up, it became that bit easier for DJ Screw's mixtapes to be introduced to an even wider audience. However, just as he was reaching the heights of his career, getting more attention than he probably ever thought possible, he was found passed away in his recording studio. Autopsy declared his death to be a result of an overdose of codeine, which is the primary ingredient in the drink that DJ Screw loved to drink. But his friends have also mentioned that his constant hard work without breaks must have contributed to his untimely passing. Whatever the case, it's a good thing that his sound did not die with him. There are influences of his sound everywhere in the hip-hop scene, and even big artists like fellow Houston native Travis Scott, who paid tribute to DJ Screw in multiple ways, with his most notable being when he made a full song on his Astroworld album dedicated to Screw titled R.I.P. Screw. He also showed images of DJ Screw in the background during his performance of Sicko Mode on SNL, which was covered with the illusion of running water, while also even sitting down on the floor as DJ Screw's voice echoed throughout the room, closing out the show.
Shook, yeah. To New York, game of this. You know what I'm saying? Put it down for the city, for the state, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like, get them grams. You know what I'm saying?
Drake, in particular, has been quite unashamed and vocal about his love for the Screwed sound, even releasing a song November 18th that is basically an update of Screw's freestyle, June 27th. What's more, just a couple of years after his passing, he was honored by Texas Governor Rick Perry, who made him an official Texas music pioneer. In addition to that, his 1995 album 3 in the Morning, Part 2, was added to the list of 25 best Houston rap albums of all time by the Houston Press, meaning that they consider that album for shaping Houston's hip-hop scene, and many people would agree with that. DJ Screw might have passed more than 20 years ago without reaching significant heights of fame, but his legacy has managed to live on and reach heights that he never did. And that legacy does not just include the chopped and screwed sound, it also includes the number of artists that he helped along the way.